Hey guys, Dr. Shook here. I hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to talk about a very important topic. And this topic is so important because of how ubiquitous in our environment and in our bodies this particular metal is. And the effects on our body are numerous. So what I'm really talking about today is mercury and its contribution to disease, but in particular, I want to talk about how mercury contributes to autoimmunity and immune system suppression, so suppression and weakening of the immune system. How many of you have problems with your immune system and its ability to fight off different types of infections, or you find yourself recurrently, you're battling yeast infections, you're battling or candida infections, you're battling colds, or you seem to always pick up, these colds, and your immune system just doesn't seem strong. Well, one of the potential things that we know that mercury does, we know it contributes to immune suppression. And there's actually association here with thyroid autoimmunity, Lichen Planus, which is a skin autoimmunity. There's numerous problems with the immune system and mercury. So let's talk about where it comes from first, where we commonly see it. So some mercury sources are dental amalgams. So the amalgams in the teeth, the fillings, the silver fillings. And there's a lot of controversy and a lot of debate, but I'm going to tell you I've read enough research and enough literature that I'm not comfortable with them. No matter what the dentists say, no matter what the dental associations say, I can have my opinion too, and with the literature that I've seen and the research that I've seen, it can't be good to take something that's toxic like mercury that has to be carried in a special container with warning signs all over it, mix it up, put it in my mouth, and then all of a sudden it's safe. But when you want to remove them, as soon as they're removed, they're treated again like it's the most toxic thing, one of the most toxic things on the planet. It has to be stored in a fixer solution, in an airtight box that's unbreakable and transported. But when it's in your mouth, it's fine. It doesn't make any sense to me. And there's plenty of literature that I think supports the fact that it's not good. So dental amalgams are sources of mercury. And actually, we know that the mercury that's in the amalgams is released with mastication or chewing. It's released if you have bruxism or the grinding of teeth at night. It's released from that. So where does it go? Well, it's released and it goes straight into your brain and into your neurological tissues where it has a very strong affinity or attraction for it. So is that a problem? That's absolutely a problem. This is because we know that mercury is neurotoxic. It's toxic to the nerves. So dental amalgams, energy efficient light bulbs. So all these energy efficient light bulbs, problems with them. There's problems with energy efficient light bulbs far beyond just the mercury. Really with mitochondrial dysfunction, we think that the incandescent bulbs, the original bulbs, though they're less efficient with energy, they have less problems. Okay, so the energy efficient light bulbs, definitely potential problem. Thermometers, as you might have remembered, I know that my sister told me that when she was younger, she remembered breaking them and actually playing with some of the mercury. How many people have had that experience where they would break and it was kind of, because mercury is fascinating when you see it in its it's rolling around. It's fascinating. It's this metallic liquid that's just in a liquid form that is fascinating. It's really kind of almost mesmerizing, right, to look at it. So it's something that would attract you as a child, not knowing. And so anyway, in thermometers, it has been used, in the past. Now we have the digital thermometers and whatnot, which don't have that problem, but it's still something that's has been in our past. Mercurial skin cream. So how many of you had used the Mercurochrome, right? The iodine skin cream and had it slathered all over you. I know that we used it in my house when I was younger. And that's something that has mercury in it. Shellfish and fish, we know that they can accumulate mercury at higher levels. Pesticides and fungicides. How many people, when we talk about eating organic foods, why do we talk about this? And it's because of all of this stuff together, because they have more residues of pesticides and fungicides, and these things that are more likely to contain mercury. And then some marine paints, so like boat paints and stuff, the marine-based paints, those are definitely higher in mercury. Some of them are anyway. So these are all some potential sources, and there are many more sources, but these are some of the most common places that you're going to find them. And the interesting thing is that some of the toxic effects are that this is immunotoxic, so it's toxic to your immune system. It can suppress the immune system, it can create lots of problems for the immune system. It's neurotoxic, so the nerve cells of your brain, throughout your entire body, mercury is toxic to it. And then also it's nephrotoxic, toxic to the kidneys. This is a problem. This is a problem. This is definitely something that you want to make sure that you remove from your environment, you remove from your body, and that you take active steps to detoxify. Studies suggest that amalgams, the dental amalgams, are linked to Lichen Planus. There's a connection between amalgam and Lichen Planus connection. Lichen Planus is commonly referred to as an autoimmune condition. It can happen in the mouth to the gums, and there was some studies that suggest an amalgam and Lichen Planus connection. So, and Lichen Planus can also occur on the skin. So there's some studies that suggest a connection there. So I would definitely, if you're suffering with Lichen Planus orally or skin, that if you have amalgams, you really maybe look into that connection and trying to, get those removed. That might be something reasonable to help you reduce this reaction that's occurring. Now, there's another interesting study that showed AIT, autoimmune thyroid, is what that means. Autoimmune thyroid, where there was positive TPO, which is thyroid peroxidase, and thyroidglobulin antibodies, okay, most commonly associated with Hashimoto's. With amalgams, so they had basically these antibodies with amalgams, so Hashimoto's, and they had amalgams, that they actually improved with removal. Listen, guys, anything that drives an immune response is bad for an autoimmune condition. If it's driving a chronic or a long-term immune response, it's not good. We find that when we address food sensitivities, which can drive an immune response for a long period of time because people will eat the foods over and over. When we address pathogens, which are bacteria, viruses, fungal infections, parasites, those things, when we address those things and we address environmental chemical reactivity, environmental chemicals in your environment that your immune system is reacting to, autoimmune conditions tend to improve. Those are a lot of the things that we see driving it that often help to dampen the autoimmune process. Identify the problem, remove it, and then repair the damage the best that you can. That's the approach. Identify, remove, repair. Okay, it doesn't have to be overly complicated as far as the approach to addressing this stuff. But this study showed that with removal, that these people saw improvement. So there could be this connection. Other studies showed that women with increased mercury levels were at greater odds for thyroglobulin antibodies. So thyroglobulin, when we look at Hashimoto's and we look at autoimmune thyroid conditions, one of the antibodies that we commonly check is thyroglobulin, or I should say are thyroglobulin antibodies. Now these antibodies, what they are is thyroglobulin is a protein in the cells of the thyroid that's required and necessary for thyroid hormone production. So with Hashimoto's, which is typically associated with low or hypothyroidism, the immune system will sometimes attack thyroglobulin antibodies, and if your immune system attacks that protein and destroys it, then you have less of it to be used in the manufacturing of your thyroid hormones, which can cause you to have lower thyroid hormone output. Okay, so some of these studies showed that increased mercury levels had greater odds for thyroglobulin antibodies. So can you see these potential connections here and all of these problems? That's why we can't just look at one thing in isolation. We really have to look at the whole person and address as many of these factors at one time as simply as possible. Okay, it's really important that we do that. Very interesting thing is that there's visual testing that you can actually do, which we do visual testing in our detoxification program. If you're interested in learning more about our detoxification program, you can go to nomoretoxicbody.com and you can register for the next webinar, which is going to be July 13th, over a month away. We had just had one, and we had a lot of people that are now getting the testing done and doing some things to get worked up for for toxic exposures. But if you're interested in that, you can go there and learn more, and you can register for the next webinar that we have. But you can do visual testing that helps you to, because it looks at the optic nerve, and it helps you to assess the potential exposure to environmental biotoxins. Hey guys, Dr. Shook, thank you for viewing our videos. I hope they help you out. If you want to, just subscribe to our channel somewhere here. You can watch a video that YouTube's actually selected for you, so hopefully it'll help you out. If you need any other information or resources, just look in the description. We've got links to our website, to our 9 lab test guidebook, and everything else that we do. I really appreciate you, and I hope you guys have a great